Have you heard
Let's
this?
talk about,
Have you heard this
yeah. Oh,
argument?
yes, I've heard that. Let's talk about that because we talked
Okay.
about it like yesterday and the day before. The claim is the Bible teaches, how did you say it? There are no borders, just none.
Yeah, just none. There's no borders in the New Testament, that the whole world is, under the authority of Christ, and that there are no borders, and that no country has a right to deport anyone from their country for any reason.
And your response is?
My response is that's completely insane. Um, the Bible does have borders. It's all through the Old Testament that we see borders. And if we're going to base things on theonomy, i.e., the Old Testament law, the Old Testament law literally in the 5 books of the Pentateuch lays out where the borders of certain tribes are so that they don't have fights. And it lays out all these laws about like land and how the land is supposed to be dealt with amongst the different tribes, not individuals. And so I laid that on Jimmy, and he didn't do anything. So I then laid on Jimmy that I keep saying this name. And what I'm talking about is that my dear Christian friend Jimmy has just some insane ideas about politics. That's fine.
Well, so what does he
Everybody
think
has
about that? Like,
insane ideas.
he's pretty sharp cookie. So when you show him the scripture, he's just like, "That was then, this is now," or "No, you're reading it wrong." A border doesn't mean
basically,
border.
I'm basically getting you're reading it wrong. That's what I'm getting from Jimmy at this point. I mean, he's extremely smart, and Jimmy has a master's degree in Christian philosophy, so like he's not a dummy, but he just has these weird ideas about theonomy that you know that we need to apply these ideas about theonomy in cases today as opposed to when it's actually established. And I don't know his eschatology. I don't know if he's post-mill or if he thinks that like,
I bet he's some kind
post-millennialism
of
is.
some kind of preterist, probably.
I mean, I'm a partial preterist, but like,
Makes a lot of sense.
I mean, so I think most people are partial preterists if you really drill down into
How
it.
partial?
But like, yeah,
Well,
partial,
I mean,
sure, like,
even before you get to actual borders, I mean, you got Romans 13 that talks about
yeah,
we just talked about this yesterday, right? Like God sets these people, these rulers over things. So yeah, they can do bad things. So is God's intent to be like, okay, I'm gonna set you up here, and instituting governments doesn't mean condoning all that you do. So if you come up with borders, that's bad, but you're still God and you still instituted it. So borders are a thing no matter what you want. So you can say, well, God instituted government. So even if they're an evil government acting outside of, the best way that God would approve of, governing with righteousness and justice. So either there's evil borders or there's righteous borders, but there's no way around it. There are borders. It is a thing because it was instituted by God. Are they acting outside of God's good graces and being evil with their power? So let's just start with there are borders, no way around it. Are they good or bad? Well, look at Acts 17:26. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to dwell on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place. So, I mean, at some point, if someone's going to ignore the biblical scriptures talking about borders and the tribes, I mean, this is Acts, this is a New Testament, be like, okay, well, God says he made them have boundaries of their dwelling place. So, I mean, I guess if you want to argue that God didn't, that God was wrong when he made borders, pray about that. Tell God he was wrong. But I'm going to say, well, no, when God gave them borders for dwelling places, that was a good thing God did. I mean, let's see. Even the Great Commission harkens this. Go there and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them. Well, you don't have nations if you don't know where a nation begins and ends. So it's just a bad argument. This is like Jesus was a socialist. It's like that. Amen, Greg. Chris, did you lose your mute button? But no, everyone, suck it up, submit to your governing authority. Even if you think that borders are wrong or we shouldn't have borders, if you're every nation on the planet, what, is there like 200 nations now? It constantly gets rewritten because of whoever's like...
Constantly rewritten.
Yeah, but it is like 200 now or something, or 190. Anyway, all these nations, there's like however many there are, 190, 200, because they all have borders. That's how you know they're a nation. So all of these nations, every nation on the planet has borders, otherwise they're not known as a nation. So God
Well,
instituted
yeah, I
all
mean,
of these governments. Some are good. Well, some are not completely evil. Others are completely evil. I hesitate to say any are really good. Um, some are better than others. Best house in a bad neighborhood. But they all have borders. So even if you're trying to be a Christian and you think you shouldn't have borders, well, submitting to authority in the book of Romans tells us you may, I mean, especially in America, you are the government. You are Caesar, at least on paper, to a small extent. So you legislate and try to get your nation to not have borders, to be more in line with whatever you think that's what the Bible's saying. But right now, we do have borders. So be a good Christian, submit to authority. This is not calling you to idolatry. This is not like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel yesterday, where we were talking about they wouldn't bow down. This is not that. This is saying we have a line, and people can't come here unless they're invited or approved. That's all it's saying. So if you think that's unbiblical as part of the Caesar system, run for office. Start a petition to get rid of borders. But to say it's unbiblical is not correct.
100%, man. Yeah, I mean, you made the exact point that I made in the other Discord chat, and I'm just like, look, man, like if you don't like borders, vote for a government that wants to abolish borders. Oh wait, that's voting for Democrats. Oh wait, you're going to be voting for child sacrifice and transgender kids. So then I was like, so because you don't want borders, and the party that doesn't want borders, is the party of child sacrifice. Well, then is it good to vote for that party?
And this is
So-
negating. This is also negating, like, if you don't have borders, you don't have any sort of control, which means you're forsaking your biblical duty to raise up children right in the fear of the Lord and protect people as much as you can. Like, you look at all these biblical mandates, families have husbands that love your wives, all this. Like, this gets chipped away the less control you have. And then when this control extends to a society, you can do these Christian mandates less and less, because now on a national level, you have less control, which means more and more danger is coming in, which means the part about, well, husbands, you may have to sacrifice yourself, that becomes a lot more real, because you're constantly letting in people you don't know. You're not documenting, you're not accounting for them, so you're constantly living in an increasingly more and more dangerous situation because you don't like lines. Also, borders is irrelevant. This is like moving the goalpost of a border. It's irrelevant. Like, what is your problem with borders? There's no illegal humans. Okay, great. So if there's no illegal humans, people should be able to wander wherever you want. That's your case for no borders. Okay, well, how about this? You have a line with lots of gates. There's big signs called ports of entry. So if you come to a port of entry and you're like, who do you want to come here? Like, okay, no humans are illegal, right? How many convicted rapists and murderers are you going to have living with you? Well, none. That's not what I mean. Okay, great. So you don't want rapists and murderers. Well, no illegal human. How many do you want? None? Okay. And if they survive that encounter, be like, so we're going to say actual, legit, dangerous people, let's keep them out. Can we agree for now, right? You want conservatives to take them, but you don't want any. Okay, let's just say dangerous murderers, felons, stuff like that can stay out. So you want the poor, the weak, the persecuted. Great. Go to a giant opening anywhere in the massive border walls and make that case. And if you show up in like Gucci and Nikes without dust on them, good chance you're not going to be believed and going to get denied. If you show up like beaten, scarred, like dirty, filthy, like you've been trekking through the mud and dust for a year getting here, good chance you're going to be more believed and be like, yes, I'm persecuted. For why? Because you're a Christian in an awful place? Because you're this or that or whatever reason? There's all kinds of protected reasons to get amnesty and asylum. So there's a good chance you'll be given a pass and be like, okay, you can stay here. Let us know where you are. Report your address and follow the little procedure. It's not hard. So borders are irrelevant. Oh, hey, Sean, I see you. It's what a reasonable person should be saying is, look, if someone is a evil, violent, horrible person, we don't want you here. Great. That's what borders are for. If you legit need help and you're legitimately of fear of death for one of these big reasons, yes, we want to be benevolent and give you amnesty and whatever. There is a process for that. So, I mean, the border
and that has always been like, if you're a famous dissident in another country, not just, oh, there's gangs here, because that's the entire world, right? That if that's the standard, right? Like there's there's violent warlords in all of these garbage nations, right? That are threatening just Joe Blow populace. Like that's how they have their power. So that's not the standard. The standard is going to be, I'm a political activist like Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and I've written Gulag Archipelago, and I need, asylum away from the Soviet Union so they do not murder me. Like, that has always been like, oh, well, we're going to grant, political asylum. It's not, oh, I come from a violent dirt hole country. Like, yeah, the whole world is full of violent dirt hole countries. Like, we can't take everybody. There has to be a way to fix that country. And if you live in a violent dirt hole country, elect somebody like they did down in El Salvador who has fixed that violent dirt hole country. You never hear about El Salvadorians coming to the United States anymore. You know why? Because the El Salvadorians have fixed their country. They elected, I can't remember his, Bukele, and they opened the largest open air prison in the world. They slapped all the violent gang members in there, and they've made El Salvador the safest country in the Western Hemisphere, including the United States.
Yeah,
it's safer than the United States. I know. But like, that is how you fix a country. It's not that you let everybody in from that country. If you let all the good people in from that country, then it's like Escape from New York. If anybody has seen that movie, right? It's like, the only people left in the place that we've walled in are all just the criminals preying on each other. Like, nobody wants that for any nation. And it's like, and the president of El Salvador has been roundly criticized by the left for fixing his nation. So like, oh my gosh. So Biden sends Kamala Harris down to South America to figure out the roots of migration, right? Like why are people fleeing these garbage countries? And it's like, then they criticize El Salvador for fixing their problems, the very problems that they sent her to go down there and investigate. Why are these things happening? And it's like, yeah, oh wait, they've solved that problem. Now El Salvadorians are not really coming to the United States because they don't live in a violent crap hole any longer. Huh. Imagine that. And like, if we could encourage that type of, through whatever, foreign assistance or, military assistance, or just leaving people alone, whatever it is, in these places where massive migration in the United States is happening, and encourage economic cooperation and security, and make sure that the average person is not taken care of, but is not having to live in a violent hellhole and raise a family there, then you're going to solve a lot of the immigration problem in the United States. Now, you're not going to solve the people who want to, come here and get a construction job and send all their remittances home. There's other ways to solve that. But like, the whole thing about like having asylum has always been for political prisoners or, like people that are already famously against their government and are dissidents. And that is a totally legitimate use of asylum, not, oh, I live in a country where gangs run the place and me and my entire extended family of 160 people have their lives threatened every day because we live in a violent crap hole. Like, well, that's not a valid use of asylum. Yes, your life may be in danger, but it's not in danger because you are particularly in danger. It's just in danger because you live in a violent crap hole. So I think that those distinctions should be drawn. Right? What do you think, Nate?
I think there's a lot there that I am. Yes. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, there's so much to it because it's almost not worth trying to say, because you'll say what you just said. Like, we'll talk about this and we'll lay out everything, the problems, the solutions, everything step by step. And then the person on the other side will just be like, Chris, you're racist. And it's like, why are we doing this? maybe I'm like black on the border of brown on the border of black pilled. It's like, just do what you're going to do. Let's just pop it off. Just let's see what you're going to do.
We can't cede the ground to the left. One of the things that Lee brought up yesterday that was, Lee is a Politico, so like she knows her stuff. Like she's very involved with Republican politics. I don't know if she's comfortable with me saying that. So, but she is. So, like, she knows her stuff. And I asked her, I was like, do you think that all of the stuff going on in Minnesota right now has anything to do with the midterms? And she's like, duh. It's all orchestrated for the midterms. This is all to build commercials for the left and to get women on the side. She didn't mention the women thing, but I'm mentioning like the toxic, and this is what I was going to bring about Allie Beth Stuckey. You know, she wrote that book about toxic empathy, right?
Yeah.
And she is the lone voice on Instagram right now that is fighting against the insane mommy bloggers that have massive audiences of women and women voters, and especially Christian women. And so Christian women have been taken away by leftist mommy bloggers showing how terrible ICE is and how terrible it is that they were MAGA Republicans and they allowed their husbands to be MAGA Republicans, and how they're bad Christians because of it. And Allie Beth Stuckey is just like, she is the only lady out there, and not the only one, but she is the major voice out there that is trying to fight this. And the whole thing is just dripping with toxic empathy. And this is how nations are destroyed. And again, you know, you either, so like my son and I were having a discussion. It's like, well, how do you deal with women? You either have to take away their social media, because you can show the statistics that women got literally 40% more insane with the dawn of social media. And the stats are shocking. Or you take away the right to vote. So like, or you wait for civilization to crumble, in which case they don't have social media or the right to vote, because there is no civilization, and they starve to death with their children, and they get to watch their children starve to death because they keep voting for retards. I mean,
Okay.
like, that's the thing, right?
Well,
so it's like, so we were having a whole discussion, Nate, about like, well, what do? Do you take away social media, or do you take away the right to vote? Which is easier to do?
Well,
so I don't know. That's a
it's
fun
not
question.
which is easier, what can we do? It's what's gonna happen, because probably neither one of those are going to happen. So what's going to happen is the nation will have to implode, and whoever picks up the pieces, assuming it can be some sort of least chaotic way, will just have to, like we talked about, they'll have to come up with a new constitution and just hard code some of whatever the solution is in there. But okay, so let me back away from being doom-pilled real fast. If you guys want to watch, click on that link. Click that link I put real fast, and then we'll get Sean in here. Click that link. This will all make sense in a minute. It's like a minute video, so maybe you can watch it with us when we watch. But I mean, there is a side of light and dark. It doesn't mean that there aren't some good-meaning people who are being just sucked in to the side of hell, and there are some pretty bad, nasty people who are aligning with the better side. But generally, the battle lines are drawn. So people still have time to switch and get on one side of the aisle or the other, but the things represented are pretty much stuck. One is more closely aligned to God, country, family, biblical roots, biblical values. The other side is aligned with straight up the devil. Like, we don't believe in a theistic Satan. Devil. 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 So, okay, so let me back up to, you talked about Kamala going to El Salvador and coming back and saying how,
sorry, I gave you a lot of stuff, dude. You got a lot.
It's fine. I can remember. So this goes back to, like, first of all, there's the Darien Gap, right? So going back to borders are irrelevant. What everyone really wants, except those who want to get videos, police behaving badly, they want rapists and murderers here, and just hope that they're not going to receive the bad end of it. They want bad people here. So there's an element who wants to implode this country by bringing the worst of the worst. Like, no, they didn't just get here. You want them here. You don't want good people here. You want evil murderers here because you want to destroy the country. That is your goal. Okay, but for most people, even the ones that don't like immigration or border walls or whatever, you typically would say on paper, no, you don't want rapists and murderers. Can we keep those out? Okay, great. Who do you want in? Well, people who are being persecuted and and threat of death, and great. We have giant holes in the border walls for those people called ports of entry. Like, I don't know the rate, but I doubt very many of them that are remotely believable get turned away. Anyway, so someone can check on that. So going back from that, then you have all these people you don't want in, like the people who will fly here from other nations, like even rich people in like China or India or all these other places, the Middle East, these rich countries, and they'll come. They had videos. It's Michael Yon. Do you know who that is? He's an investigative journalist. He's a war correspondent from like the last 30 years. He used to be like something.
No,
I
I've
forget
never heard of him.
Okay, I forget what he was. He used to be, I think, a Green Beret or something big in the Army. But he got out, and he's been like a traveling war correspondent journalist for like 20 or 30 years. So he goes to where the hot spots are of usually wars. Like he would bounce back and forth between this immigration because it was such a big deal in the last 4 years. So he'd go back and forth from Egypt, Iran, Israel to Ukraine and Russia because those are where the actual wars are. But he kept popping up in the Darien Gap and by Panama because this is where these caravans, and they would have like military people from like Iran and China, all provided uniforms. He would like just watch them, and it was like marching fatigues, boots were all the exact same. Like they were outfitted. They were a force of all military age fighting men with the same backpacks, same headgear, same everything. Those are not little poor people we need to protect. Those are people marching as a troop, as a battalion, who are coming in here. And then you've got other people of just like rich debutantes or whatever that show up with like Gucci chains and bling, and they will fly into some of these like border towns in Mexico. And for the last leg of the trip, they'll get on like buses and cars and stuff like that, and they'll basically drive them to like 100 yards of the border wall. So then they go in there, and like their shoes don't even have dust on them. These are not the people who are fearing for their life. These are not the kind of people you want. Either they don't have a valid claim, they're just rich and want to be here, or they're coming here to be a sleeper cell to invade. So there's that. Then going back to the other thing, let's return to, this is absolutely for the midterms and beyond. Like, I think there's more to it than that, but it's more speculative. It's like, it goes back to Cloward and Piven, and everyone calls it the Podesta Plan. Are you familiar with that? It's like the 2030 agenda. Like, it's John Podesta.
Yeah, are you talking about John Podesta?
Yeah, he was the one that really championed it. So it's been, everyone calls it the Podesta Plan, but it's really like future for a better tomorrow nation, or it's like a 2030 agenda, that type thing. So the official name is basically Cloward and Piven like 2.0. You exacerbate the resources, you bring in people, you specifically want to bring in the worst of the worst and collapse this place, because the idea is, well, I mean, really simple. You would rather reign in hell than be a servant in heaven. You'd rather rule over the ashes than be a servant, a runner-up of a well-functioning government. Because your allegiance is not to the country. Your allegiance is to like a more global order like this. Everyone click on that link. Could we be seeing some sort of clue here? Dim coalition of Satan worshippers plaque thinking Tim Walz leaves state rep speechless. There you go. Baphomet with like a trans pink flame coming out of the top of its goat skull. So, Representative Pam Adeldorf reported on a display she saw when she encountered inside the Minnesota State Capitol describing a plaque she saw was presented to Governor Tim Walz by a group identifying itself as the Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshippers. Aldenhofer made the remarks while filming inside the Capitol and read the wording of the plaque aloud as she described its placement. So you can read that article. Let's go watch this video if you'd like to watch that independently. It's like 1 minute and 52 seconds. So we'll watch that and reconvene. Let's see what she has to say.
This is Representative Pam Altendorf coming live at you from the Minnesota State Capitol. I am on the ground floor, and as I was leaving my committee meeting today here earlier, I noticed that there is a new display here at the State Capitol, and it's for Governor Walz. It's right here on display. So let me see. I mean, I guess I can't flip my phone, but I'll see if I can show it to you.
Oh,
this is
nice.
what we have here, everyone. Let me read it to you. The Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshippers thanks Governor Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism in the State Capitol building. Satan has a special place for you. That's right, everyone. So the Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshippers, they have given some sort of plaque here to Governor Tim Walz. So let me be the first, I guess, to congratulate Governor Tim Walz for this very special award that has come from the Satan worshippers here in the Minnesota State Capitol. Yes, everyone, this is true. I am live, not making this up. You can't make this up.
This is sick.
I don't know what else to say. I would think if you're Governor Tim Walz, you could choose not to have up this plaque. I don't know why a governor of a state would want this plaque, but there it is. Let me show you. Here we are, live at the state capitol, and the Satan worshipers have thanked Governor Tim Walz. And let me repeat this. The last line says, Satan has a special place for you.
Oh, I believe Satan has a special place. I mean, look, Sean, we've talked a lot against, I guess, the Democrat Party side. If you still want to defend it, we'll give you a little bit here. I don't want this to turn into like a brawl of charismatics and Calvinese yesterday, but I have a little bit of time, so you can say your piece. But I mean, look, whatever the side is that thanks someone for not standing in the way of them spreading Satanism in the state capitol, I don't want to be on that side. I mean, this is fine, right? Like, this is okay for a Christian stance. Like, don't be on the side who's also got the devil people on their side. Like, am I reading that wrong? What's up, Sean? Good morning.
Good morning. No, there will be from me today. There will be no horrible acting, unseemliness. I promise you that from me. I can't say the same for others because they're independent thinkers. I will say, I have nothing to do with Satanism, devil worship, none of that. That is, I'm a stickler for 1 Corinthians chapter 10, where it says you cannot drink from the cup of the Lord and drink from the cup of demons. You cannot eat from the table of the Lord and eat from the table of demons. One thing I do understand is that God made everyone with dignity because he made us all in his image after his likeness. I say that. But I think we've forgotten a lot of things, which is the beauty of doing missionary work. I think all of us need to do it at least one time. Because I've traveled to overseas as a soldier, and I've traveled overseas as a preacher, doing a missionary work over in Africa. And I've done prison ministry. I think we forget that all of them need to hear the gospel at least once too.
No one's forgot that at all. No one.
That's where it's coming off. Because all I hear is garbage country, garbage nation. And I heard all that.
Well, yeah, that's Chris, but that didn't have anything to do with prison ministry like you're talking about.
Yeah. It's supposed to ask a Christian. But one of the main things we're supposed to be doing is loving.
Yes.
And,
love the murderers and rapists who need to hear about Jesus on the other side of the wall. Lower down Bibles and fruit baskets. Teach them to not murder and to repent and follow Jesus. And keep them out of your country.
Well, once they become believers, what are we going to do then? How are you going to disciple people?
The same way the baskets in the Bible thing. Like, that's a long way. Like, can we talk about that? That's, you know what? Well, instead of responding to that, because I mean we can talk about it. Let's just say I will have an open heart and mind, and we will talk about the reformed rapists and murderers who have accepted Christ and are following the Lord and Savior Jesus with any sort of believability at all. I will talk about letting them stay in my neighborhood happily. once that happens. So can we at least say, let's get to that part where they seem to express repentance and in some sort of believable way that they have found the light of Jesus Christ and stopped raping and murdering people. If you have one person that has done that, let's go ahead and then have that conversation. But until then, can we agree that we can just keep them out? And also, well, should 8 billion people?
I totally
Well, should
agree
8 billion
with you.
people live in my house? Because I mean, as much as I want to disciple
I'm
everyone,
totally
I can't have the
agreement
entire
with
planet
you.
living in my bedroom.
Like I said, I'm totally in agreement with you. Once they captured and they're imprisoned, I listen. Then now the rehabilitation supposed to start once they're in the prison system, and that's supposed to include the chaplaincy doing what they're supposed to do, getting the gospel out there. Not just telling them that their mom or dad or sister or brother have died.
Weren't we talking about borders? How did we switch to prisons?
Well, it's a nuance. It's a nuance. It's a nuance. Because sooner or later, we got to talk about the gospel, even in the borders.
Sure. ICE,
because when it's all said and done, ain't gonna be two borders, heaven or hell.
see, so even in the eternity, there's borders.
There's
when the
borders,
nice
heaven
people
or
at
hell.
ICE come
Which
round
side
up
you
the
gonna
people
land
who
on?
have severed heads under their floorboards who they've murdered, then maybe if they want to hire me as an ICE chaplain, I'll do that. I'd be like, hey, ICE has got the nice people at ICE have gone and rounded up all the rapists and murderers, and now they're sitting in ICE detention. I'll be like, hey guys, I know you covered in blood and you just raped and murdered people the other day, but would you like to hear about Jesus Christ? That's a fine approach. Let's get some chaplains in there to share the gospel, but also not let them run around on the streets. Do we agree? That's good, right?
Yeah, of course. Once you arrested, they had the day in court. Now, I still believe in due process.
Citizens get different due process than the rest of the world. But yes,
That's
sure.
not what that's not how it's written.
Ask the Supreme Court. That's exactly how it's written. Not everyone gets the same due process. Citizens are entitled to full due process. Non-citizens they still have some due process, which is way more leniency than the rest of the world gives them, but it is not the full due process that citizens get. And look, Random's down there doing the meme. Random's doing the meme. All immigrants are rapists and murderers. I specifically addressed that. Remember that part where I'm like, the ones who legit seem believable in their claim for asylum, those would be the ones who are not rapists and murderers. Random.
There are people. Hey, good morning, Randall. Javette, Revelation, Chris. I just think I don't want rapists, murderers, pedophiles, none of that. All right, around me if they have not truly repented and received Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. But I've got to understand what needs to be done. Like I said, let them have their day in court. They found innocent or guilty, because that's how the verdict gonna go. Then, if they're found innocent, go about your business. Go, but get out of here.
If they're found innocent of there's two things though, Sean. One, if they're found innocent of whatever heinous crime, they're still found guilty of being here illegally, and also.
Right.
Also, a lot of these have orders already. They have standing orders of removal. So, like, people try to say, well, you need a warrant issued by a court. That's not true. Like, a court order is final. That's like an eviction notice, like similar to an eviction notice. You don't need a cop to go get a warrant to come into someone's home and evict them. after the eviction order has been given, the eviction order is final. You go to them, you get them out of their house. Like, that is a stamped final order. It's not like a warrant saying, hey, a judge signed a warrant, we need to go get you and try you with a crime and bring you to try your case. These are like orders of final deportation. So it says, no, you've already been found. The finality of your case has been determined. Here is your order of removal. Like, you don't need any further legal stuff. You have the finality. It doesn't get more final than go get this person and remove them. And people are trying to mix the waters. That is it. Like, they're like, you need to get a warrant signed by a judge. If you have an order of removal, that is more, I mean, all sort of equal, but it's more powerful. It's a note of finality. Their case is done. Like, you go get them and get them gone. That's your order.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. That's when that's said and done. You have the order of removal. What are those who don't have an order of removal?
We don't know because look what happens when.
the
Hold on, Sean.
problem.
Well, you ask a question. Maybe someone knows, but I'm trying to be kind of tongue-in-cheek. We don't know what happens about people that don't have orders of removal, because when they try to go get the people with orders of removal, Minnesota freaks out and lights their city on fire and harasses cops. So we can't even get through the actual people with orders of removal to find out what happens to people who don't have them, because the ones it's like, nah, this guy's like, he's like, the worst of the worst, he has to be removed. He may not even be eligible to be deported because he's so dangerous. We can't deport him. We have to incarcerate him. That's how bad he is. We can't even get those people gone without people violently rioting against police. So the people without an order of removal, who knows? They're probably running around just fine. Unless by happenstance they come in contact with them and they're like, oh, you're a fellow gang member we didn't know was in the system? Okay, well, you're coming along too. But yeah. Chris, did you want to say something? I saw the tiles move around. All right. I declare immigration solved. Are we good? Is that it? Sean, anything else?
Yeah, the process of immigration. It seems like each generation wants less and less immigrants. Yet they might be third or fourth generation U.S. citizens, but not first generation. You know, they Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. Give me your weak, your tired, your poor, your huddled masses.
So we can say that violent criminals wanting to come here to drain
I
the
ain't say
system.
nothing about violent criminals.
I know. Right. So I keep saying this, and then I get random saying all immigrants are rapists and murderers, ? And then talking about the huddled masses. So specifically, we've covered the huddled masses. But so presumably that people who are military battalions coming to infiltrate, rich debutantes coming here to suck up the system, and people who have been let out of prisons to come here to cause mayhem, these are not the weak, the tired, the oppressed. These are the energetic, well-funded, and oppressors, right? So Ellis Island, that sign does not apply to the people we are talking about, right? Like the people who are persecuted, on death's door, things like this. That's who me and everyone else is saying, let's check out their claims. Let's hear what they're saying. Do we believe them? Are they lying? Are they vetted? Then come on in. Maybe we can help you out.
Is it? Here's the thing I'm saying. Now, we know we have people who have dual citizenship. I don't fully agree with everything he says. Mehdi Hassan. He was on Jubilee. I was watching the debate he had with 20 other people. And then I remember hearing the dude tell him, now he's a fully naturalized American citizen. the dude told him to get out. What kind of mess is that? He is a journalist. Whether you agree with him politically or not, he did everything right to get here. He applied for citizenship. He got his green card. He did all the tests, and finally he took the pledge that all of us have that those who are immigrants take. Those who are not immigrants, who are born here, just born here, don't have to take that oath or a pledge. Depends on how you look at it. I'm still thinking there's got to be we've got to get, there's extremes on both sides, and our Lord have mercy, I know there is full extremes.
Oh, this is interesting.
Extremes. Are we going to go to extreme, or are we going to keep a balanced mind? Because you go too extreme, right or left, somebody going to get left out who hadn't done nothing wrong. And I don't want what happened in Minnesota on 2 separate occasions. Someone getting killed. That's not a. I don't want to. I know death will happen, but I don't want to see any more violent death. I've seen enough.
Well, let me run through this real quick. I was looking
the last 30 days.
Maybe someone can fact check this, but apparently the placard, the "Give me your tired, your poor." I was curious. I never really knew the origin of that. I'm like, well, who did that? So this is the best AI has. So if someone thinks different, fact check me. So this thing, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming soil or shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. And this is a poem from Emma Lazarus's The New Colossus. So anyways, apparently this is since 1903, and it was put at the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. I did not realize this, though. It was privately funded. So this is not a governmental statement. Is that true? Fact check me if someone disagrees, but the best I can find while you were talking is, again, it doesn't make the sentiment any less, but it would definitely shift that the government isn't endorsing this. If it's like another privately funded project, which it seems like it is, funded by, who was it? It was a relative of this person. Yeah, it was the niece of the publisher and friend of the person who wrote it, did this. So it was all privately funded. This is not necessarily a government statement. But Sean, I think now we've gone too far. So either nothing is going... if all things stay not too extreme, the extreme left is going to win. Because things are already on that slippery slope that's totally mythological and doesn't exist. Well, it's sliding so fast on that sliding slope that if nothing else changes and both people try to exercise restraint, both groups, it's going to furiously keep tilting left because that's the way the slope is angled. You already have people in Sheinbaum's office in Mexico drawing up plans to reclaim states of the United States, for Mexico. Like, it's people is it the senators of Mexico or the cabinet? It was just released. I forget who did it. I was listening to it this morning, but people like top officials in Mexico, like people in political prominence, are saying there's like 39 million Mexicans living in America now in the United States, from like California, Nevada, New Mexico, even as far as Kansas and Oklahoma, and they're like, yes, this is all like what we plan, and we're going to reclaim territory, and I'm like, what? So you have people seriously in high prominent places in government apparently drawing up invasion plans to reclaim at the opportune time states for Mother Mexico, and also we need to be have an extreme measure, because it's like the ladder of escalation. If you try to match what's been given, they're going to escalate further. You have to go above that and then tamp them down. That's what needs to be done. Trump has failed. He's going to, it looks like, have to pull out of Minnesota and basically give them the win which is the worst thing. It's just going to inspire people all over the country to do that exact same thing, because it's like you just let the baby win. That is the worst thing he could have done. He should have done the Insurrection Act months ago. Probably his first day in office he should have done it. But really, like months ago. He should have declared the Insurrection Act and come down with a heavy fist. And look, once 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, people whose only crime was coming here illegally, they're working, they have jobs, they somehow pay taxes even though they're undocumented, don't have a social security number, whatever. Let's just say they drop off bags of cash because they're that kind of good citizen. Another tired argument. They pay taxes. They don't have a social security number. Anyway, so their only crime is jumping the border. Well, now it doesn't matter. Where we could have maybe done like a general sort of amnesty and be like, well, look, if you've demonstrated in the X amount of time it took to figure out you were here illegal and your only crime was border jumping, now we can give you like some sort of blanket amnesty for X amount of people to show whatever and to integrate you because you've already been in our society. It would be more harmful to take you out than leave you where you are. That time has really passed, because so much way worse immigration has happened that it's like, look, if your only crime is jumping the border illegally, now we're sorry, but all the other people who are like legit criminals who are way worse than you, they've made it so bad that you just have to go too. Like, everyone who is here illegally has to go. Sorry, it sucks. Blame the other people who are way worse than you. It started with you making one crime, coming here illegally. It continued with people who have criminal records, who are doing many more crimes, who come here, drive drunk, kill families with newborns in California, who get illegal CDL licenses by the governor of California, and jackknife people and kill families of 3 in California and Florida highways. So because of that, it doesn't matter if your only crime was being here illegally. Sorry, you all have to go now. Don't thank us, thank them. I mean, I think at this point, like, extreme measures are the only thing that's going to right this ship. Like, you can't worry about, like, fine-tuning. You have to do, like, mass triage. And it doesn't matter feelings. No feelings, no gospel, no nothing. Like this is, if you want the gushing blood to stop so anyone can hear any gospel and anyone can have any feelings, you've got to make massive strides quick. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't know about there, Nate, about the Mexican officials are planning to basically that's a coup, which would be an act of war, and then now we will have problems. We'd have a second Mexican-American war.
I mean, who knows if it'll ever actually happen, but I mean, the time it would happen is basically if the Clarendon Piven 2.0 people get what they want, and is a violent, bloody civil war, which that sounds far-fetched too. But I mean, day by day, it seems a little closer to home. So really, all the world's supervillains that want to carve up America, if it's like you heard that report, like Chinese generals and military people like years ago, they were using like Google Earth and picking out homes that they wanted to live in the United States. So like, if or when they invaded and America fell, then they would give Chinese, like, high military officials these homes. So they're, like, just picking on a map. Like, I want to live in that house. I'm going to live in this address. Like, yes, when we take over, we're going to live there. It's like, well, that seems very far-fetched. But again, if America fights like cats and dogs and there's a big civil war and government really is exacerbated, which it kind of is now, like it's strung out at all ends, that would be the time where if Mexico's like, well, hey, China, you have your house, yeah, you take Florida, you take Washington, and, you know, we're going to take Oklahoma, from Oklahoma to Nevada. So, and then maybe Canada's like, you know, they'll try to take like a city or two up north because, you know, Canada.
Why don't you describe what the Cloward-Piven strategy is? Because I don't think a lot of people know that. And just give it to us in like a 2-minute nutshell.
Basically, you take Marxist ideology from like original Marx, not what it's became. Like, you go all the way back. I mean, that you can combine it, but basically it starts all the way back at Marx. Like, you've got him. You've got all of his weird CRT, the critical theory, not just race theory, but critical theory, all of this stuff. And you've got his Marxist communist governmental policies. And then you go throughout time and you get this more full-fledged out critical theory that basically God, Christian, white people are the oppressors, and the only other group you're in is the oppressed. So then you do this false virtue signal, and it's all about tolerance and love, and just choose love, and all these amorphous terms that don't mean anything. And basically, you are only excluded from the club if you are not communist like them. Like if you're capitalism came later, but if you're like free, if you're like maximal freedom, if you want freedom, if you want sovereignty, if you are a Christian, if you are white. I didn't make the rules, they did. But so white, Christian, capitalist, that gets included. And if you want like freedom, that's how you get kicked out of their club. Everyone else gets in this club. So then the idea is to drain all the other hellholes on Earth and bring them all here, or to whatever nation, it's this one though, to tax and exhaust the welfare system, the social safety net. So once you implode the social safety net, you're basically doing a multi-front attack on all, like the only thing you're not doing is kinetic warfare. That comes last, which is like now attacking ICE and, violent starts and things like that. That's the last thing. Basically, you've done like a soft coup in every system. In education, you've indoctrinated people at the college academic level. You've got that. You've turned people against each other. You've ostracized and shut out all the people that want typically law and order and national pride and sovereignty into this like global, homogenous type thing. And then you've destroyed the social safety net, exacerbated the resources of the host country, us, and now you can just completely collapse it and, I guess, rebuild it in your Marxist utopia. How's that, Chris? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it.
And that, in a nutshell, is kind of what people lovingly call the Podesta Plan, which I just heard the name again. It's the official plan. Let me see if I can find it. It's like national. It sounds very non-threatening. Let me see it. When people talk about the Podesta Plan, that's not the official name of it. What is the official name? It's like the national something something. It's kind of like the 2030 agenda. Can you do some research and let me know the actual name of what people refer to the Podesta Plan, what it actually is? Ah! I spoke into the thing that can't get speaking. Oh, seriously? Bear with me, people. One moment. I spoke into my only AI that doesn't let me do voice chat.
Bruh.
I know. Thank you for your patience. Who's going to fire me? Okay, the Podesta Plan. When people talk about this, what do they really mean? Because this is not the official name. The official name is like National something, something, something. It's kind of like the 2030 agenda. Can you please do some research? Take as long as you need. I want to know what the official name of the plan is that people usually talk about as the Podesta Plan. All right.
By the way, Nate, you're fired.
All right. See you guys later. Now, Grok's not working? Am I being...
I'll rehire you. Yeah, Grok is having some problems right now. So
because they're being attacked? Okay.
That I don't know. I don't know what the actual problem is. I haven't looked into it.
Oh my gosh, this is killing me. I know this. There is no official Podesta Plan. I literally said that. It's called like national... Oh, national... There's a E, like entreaty. National entreaty, something... This is going to drive me crazy. I just heard it this morning again. Anyways, the Podesta Plan. It's basically Cloward and Piven 2.0. Yeah. So it's everything you see happening in the country right now, that's it. And the goal is for it to be fully enacted by 2030.
Boy, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Hey, is anyone investing in silver?
No, why? What's going on with silver?
Bro, what?
You got me, man.
Just go rip out all the silver components of your car right now. It'll be worth it. It went from so in the last, 2 years, it went from like $30 to like last week or 2 weeks ago, like $78. And now it went from like $78. It's like, yesterday it was $118. Like silver is going crazy. Let's see what it is right now. It's like a supply and demand thing. People are like, it's volatile. But I'm like, well, it's more than volatile. It's like supply now with all the AI data centers, all the electric cars. Like there is a real demand for it, and they cannot open mines fast enough. So there's a supply issue. All right, silver. Oh, it's down to 108. Wait, no, that's cryptocurrency. My bad. No, there's no way. Hang on. That's crypto silver or something.
Weird.
Maybe it is 108. Anyway, but yeah, so that's where it is right now. So follow the dips and charts. It'll probably be like high again today, and then it'll like go down. I think it's in the place where it's going to do like 2 steps forward, 1 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But it's progressively, and then like probably in another month or two, something else will happen, and there'll be another huge leap forward. Anyway, so if you're in silver, what is the name?
Right now, I'm heavily investing in NVIDIA and Tesla.
You're investing in what's going to kill us, Chris.
It's
Why are
okay, as
you
long as it makes
investing
me
in
some
your own
money.
demise?
I mean, no more than voting Democrat, so I'm fine. See what I did there?
Unless AI is the thing that emerges to rule them all. They were all of them deceived. The Republicans, the Democrats.
Indeed.
Come on, ChatGPT. I know you're the man, but I have no other choice right now. Grok is sucking. Grok's experiencing issues. Ugh.
Grok is experiencing issues. Dude, I'm signing up for this off-peak charging program right now. It's really fun.
Did you get the special charger, like the fast charger for your house?
Yeah.
Is it nice?
It is nice. The electrician installed it yesterday, so he
Oh.
actually did a great job. He charged me $200 to install the charger.
Wow, how much was the
I
charger?
love my. It's like $500.
Oh.
So like I did all the math. I actually had Grok do all the math. Nate, you would have been proud of me. I used
When it was
I used the
working?
robot. Yeah, when it was working. And so I put in like all of the different variables, right? I think I put in like 15 separate variables, like, take like my electric bill. I gave it my full electric bill. I fed it like all of the hours, like, because my smart meter takes a reading every 15 minutes. So I fed it a 22 megabyte text file, which is huge for a text file. And then I said, okay, take all this stuff into account. And I gave it the year, make, and model of my existing car, my gas car, and I was like, use current prices for gasoline, average them out over 2 years. And then I was like, and amortize the install and the cost of the charger, yada, yada, yada. I just put the whole thing in, all the variables. And it turns out that by using the EV, I am saving $130 a month over running the gas car.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah. And that includes like oil changes and all that jazz. So, it's like, yeah, so it's financially working out in my favor. And right now, I'm saving even more money because I'm signing up for Duke Energy as my power company. And they have an off-peak charging credit program where basically like if you charge your vehicle at night when there's off-peak hours, then they give you $10 a month off of your power bill. And they reduce the electric rate for charging your car down to like 7 cents a kilowatt hour. So basically, like, it'll only cost me like, so like yesterday, it made 20 kilowatt hours to refill the car back to 80%. So that would be what?
Clearly,
7 cents times 20. So it'd be $1.40 of power. So basically, I'm paying like $1.50 a night to charge the car.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, fun stuff. So I'm working on that right now.
300.
All right. Well, I'm tired. I don't think we answered a single question about Christianity today, did we?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Allie Beth Stuckey thing is pretty cool. These proofs once received.
Oh, random. Are you trolling us, random? What's this? Come on, man. Come on. No gospel indeed. Jesus was well known to say, in these situations, ignore the gospel until things settle down. It has nothing to do with the gospel. He said it during his Sermon on the Mountain. Blessed are those who defend their homeland. Do your worst unto people that have done to you. So No one said any of that, right? If someone's like trying to stab you in the face and you're like, well, look, let me show you the love of our Lord. Oh, well, I didn't because now I'm dead. Oh, okay. My house was robbed and burned. You set fire to it. Okay, you killed my kids. You killed my cat. Well, I wanted to tell you about Jesus, but I also couldn't because I'm dead. Or, well, hey, let me just tussle with you a little bit and wrestle around and, choke you out. And when you come to and the police are here and you're in handcuffs, I'd be like, hey, you're going to have some time to read some stuff in jail. So here's a little gospel track. Here's a New Testament. Think the Gideons. And, maybe I'll visit you in a week or so and tell you the gospel when you're safe and can't kill me.
Hey, I forgot to ask, is everybody safe from this frigid cold?
It's
I mean, we live in
cold,
Florida.
but we can't tell you the temperature. It's very cold for us, but you would just not like us.
It's 22 degrees here.
Okay, it was 39 degrees when I woke up this morning.
I'm right next door in Alabama, so right next door. Literally, an hour and a half away.
All right, guys, it was a good conversation. I've got some stuff to do today, so I got to run. Yvette, I know how much you love politics. We'll try to do better tomorrow. All right, everyone, have a good day. Take care, guys. See ya.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys, I've got to run. I tried today. I really did try to not talk about politics. At least in my head I tried, but that didn't happen. Okay, do good things. Hit that like button, will you? Do me a favor. Hit that like button. All right, everyone, take care. See ya.